Welcome to the International Teacher Podcast with your host, Kent the Cat Guy, Jacqueline from JP Mint Consulting, Darian the Family Guy, and Greg the Single Guy, bringing you episodes from around the world about the best-kept secret in teaching. You got it, international education. Welcome to the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the International Teacher Podcast. I am Jacqueline from JP Mint Consulting, and I have with me today Kent the Cat Guy in
Hey
Washington
JP,
State.
so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
And Greg is out today, but we are lucky to have two guests for the price of one. We have Jessica and Cesar Valera from California, but in Montenegro. Hi guys.
Hi.
Thanks for having us. TVAT Montenegro to be even more specific. Oh, yeah, excited to be here. Thanks for the invite.
And Cesar, actually, I said California, but I think you're from somewhere before
Originally
California.
from Venezuela, from Caracas,
Venezuela.
Yes.
So we have we have three nationalities represented today. That's awesome. Hey, can you tell us a little bit about your international journey and what brought you overseas?
Oh, it actually started in Caracas, Venezuela. That's where and Jessica can tell a little bit of her story and how she got there, because I was already there.
Yeah, so let's see. In 2010, I went overseas for the first time to Caracas, Venezuela. And while I was there, I met Cesar, and our first daughter was born in Caracas. And even before she was born, we knew that our dream was to raise our kids overseas and to somehow make it work, like have our family living overseas. And then for various reasons, we returned to the United States in 2016. And at that point, yeah, that was a big transition. The repatriation was definitely a bigger transition than going overseas initially. And, my dad actually says life is what happens when you're making other plans, So we always had the plan of coming back overseas, but it ended up being 9 years that we stayed in the United States. I think COVID set us back. And I also think that we had two more kids because we have twins that are now 7. And so that set us back a little bit, but I feel like we always stayed focused on our North Star, having our kids have an international lifestyle, having a lifestyle where we would be able to spend more time together. And yeah, so I feel like in one way or another, we were kind of working toward this during all of those 9 years, even when it didn't seem like we're taking specific steps. We always had it in mind. And then in the past couple of years, we would kind of check in with each other. Are we still 2 to 3 years out? And I felt like for 5 years, we were 2 to 3 years out from moving overseas, and it kept staying 2 to 3 years. And then it just hit us about a year and a half ago, and we were like, yeah, now's the time to go. Let's get started on bringing our whole family overseas, which is a totally different undertaking than moving overseas as a single person,
Let me jump in here and ask. So, for all of these years, you had this plan to return overseas. Were the kids part of this conversation? Were they aware that this was part of the plan?
Yeah, actually, they were.
I mean, we were inspired by older couples that raise their kids overseas. So that was always part of the conversation, and seeing their kids now being adults and being very successful and happy type of people that we look up to now.
Well,
it's what we like. It inspired us, and it's always part of the conversation, showing them what's possible, showing our kids what's possible.
Our older daughter, I did tell her, you're going to live in many countries. In this time in our life, we're not traveling much, because COVID and then twins. And so she occasionally would say things like, when are we going to move somewhere exciting? Or can we move across the world? And I was like, it's coming. And then for example, with the twins, got their passports probably when they were, I think, around 1 year old. And at that time, we had 3 kids under 3. We were barely making it out of the house, let alone going on some international adventure. I remember telling the older daughter, because she's like, but we haven't gone on any to other countries. And I'm like, well, we're just planting the seeds. We're getting ready. We're going to all have our passports ready and up to date. So we can take off
So
when the
do
time is
your
right.
7-year-old twins have those baby photos still in their passport?
Well, in the US, kids' passports, I think up until age 16, only last 5 years. So they have a new, like, more updated
Okay.
passport.
Because that's always the challenge is like, this is my child when it's like a
Yeah.
6-year-old running around and there's a baby.
Well,
Yeah, there are definitely kids out there that kind of have that experience of, 5
were
years old.
there challenges with being a family of five with three kids, applying to schools, interviewing with schools? What was that like for the two of you?
I would say, some schools that I had anticipated just kind of based on reputation. I thought they would provide tuition for all three kids, and they didn't. Like, I interviewed with one school that said, like, okay, we can only provide tuition for two kids. Is that something you're comfortable with? And I was like, for the right school, we would be able to manage that. So I wanted to keep all the options open. And then I had a chance to talk to someone from Search Associates at the fair and talking about like how international education has changed since COVID. And they said that a lot of the schools like had lost so much money during COVID because so many families returned home that international schools were kind of tightening up because they needed to like they couldn't just be giving, free tuition to every family. So then that made more sense, it was kind of like I saw like, okay, yeah. Because when I worked in Venezuela, I remember like there was definitely several families with three kids and I was,
I've
didn't have
even
kids at the
seen
time.
4. It's rare,
Yeah.
but I've even seen 4 for a teaching couple. Yeah.
Yeah, we did have a family like that in Venezuela. So
Good elementary school principal or something. It
no,
was a large
both
family.
both people, adults were teachers. So
Okay.
yeah, but things have changed a little bit. I will say the options are more limited.
Yeah,
So
we
tell
applied
us a
for
little
a
bit
lot of.
about that job search. Did you end up going to a job fair and meeting heads of school in person?
I mean, we did not. I mean, we
No,
went to
wait,
fairs.
yeah,
We went
went
to
to
fairs, and we
the
met
search San
with
Francisco.
and
Yeah.
yes, and then we met with a lot of schools. But yeah, our profile was just a hard fit for many schools. Some had a job for Jessica, some had a job for me, some would accept only one kid, some would accept two, and so it was hard to find a good fit. So the way we found our current job, and I don't know if you would planning to go about this in a couple of minutes. That's their personal reference. It was not through
Yay.
it was not through Search Associates, and because we applied to how many jobs?
Between the two of us, we applied to 66 jobs in 32 countries.
Wow.
It
And we
was
ended up, yeah,
One
Isn't
you
that
got
awesome?
you didn't apply to.
It was like the one school you had not applied to.
It's the 67th school.
Yeah.
right.
I think
They
they
hadn't,
didn't.
they hadn't posted the job I have now, and they had posted Cesar's job, but it was such a small school, and it was from a kind of professional and friendly contact I had from, oh gosh, it was like 17 years ago. This woman that I met at a biotechnology training in California, and we stayed in touch through Facebook. And then I moved overseas to Caracas in 2010, and I was kind of like her inspiration for moving overseas. And then 2 years later, she moved overseas to Panama, and we kept in touch. And I knew she had been in Montenegro for 6 years, I think. And I'd even chatted with her, like, "Do you think you're like, what's your school like? We're gonna be looking." And she's like, it's so small. Like, my school is great. It might be a good fit for you guys, but I don't know what would happen for there to be a job for both of you guys opened up. So that changed, and they saw Cesar as a real asset, which I knew had to happen because he was coming in with less teaching experience, but with a lot of relevant professional experience.
Well, let's pause for a sec. Let's talk a little bit about Cesar's background. So, Cesar, you were in Venezuela. Were you teaching at Jessica's school, and that's how you guys met?
I was not. I had a relationship with the school, and I was sort of part of the community, but not really. I was not teaching.
And so how did you fall into teaching and now
At that point, I was
overseas?
a professional athlete. That's what I was doing for a living, and I was training at that school. They had a pool, and I would swim at that school, and that's where we met. Because of my background with sports, and as in my early 20s, I got a what you could call a teaching job because I was teaching certification courses for cycling instructors. And then that evolved into a little bit more responsibility within that area. And then I ended up helping developing different curriculums for this kind of certifications, and it's more in the fitness industry. Yeah, and then after that, after when I was about to retire, I became a coach, and then I had a coaching business, and that's when we met. I was running this coaching business.
And how did you become a teacher then? Did you go to
Yeah, it was
school
because
for
of
like
Jessica. Yeah,
in the US?
what I mentioned about this friends that I now consider almost mentors or inspiration for us. I saw the way through that, and then as Jessica said, it took us a while because when we got to the US, we had to, I had to start again within my career and build up a new business and all of that, and it happened. It was great. We had a good life. That teaching overseas was our future. So gradually, I started gravitating towards it, and then the last job I had was at a community college. So I was running certain endurance training programs in this community college athletic center. So I was in contact with students. I was a part of the university or of the college, and then well, that was my introduction into
Yeah. And then you got your teaching credential like that
and then
last year.
yes, exactly. So we knew that that was a step that we needed to take,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started that process, and yeah, and then everything happened very
And
fast,
now are
very slow,
you
very
in
fast.
Montenegro? You're doing something to do with PE, I presume?
Yes. So there's the IB program has a sports and science, sports
Oh,
exercise science. That's what I'm teaching.
And then MYP, PE.
MYPP. That's so I have yeah from year 7 all the way to year 13.
that's what happens at a small school. You end up doing a lot.
Everybody does a lot.
And
And just
Jessica, you mentioned something, sorry again, you mentioned something about biotechnology. So I'm assuming
Mm-hmm.
science?
Yeah, I'm a science teacher. I started out as a biology teacher, and then I taught IB Bio when I was in Venezuela, and then I taught AP Environmental Science in the US, and I really wanted when we came overseas, I knew that because I've held different leadership positions, I've taught a lot of different courses, I've taught in so many different contexts. I knew that if a school could see the potential in Cesar, I was willing to teach anything. Just get me in. I'll take one for the team. I knew that my flexibility was going to be important in us landing a good fit for the whole family. So I really wanted to teach the IB Environmental Systems and Societies class, which I'm now teaching. And then also I've been stretching out of my comfort zone for IB chemistry and IB geography. So it's quite a handful, but I think I'm doing all right. And my hyper organization as a, working mom and mom of 3 kids, I think is prepared me. And previous IB experience, this would have been just really hard if I had no IB experience. But a lot of things have changed since I was in the IB program before. So, but I've been really happy to be back with the IB.
Yeah, we also were lucky to land in a work environment here that supports us
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah, really
proper
supportive
leadership
and
and very it's we're very happy about it.
so is this your first year or second year there in Montenegro?
we've been here just like
3
3.5 months.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about Montenegro for just a few minutes here. I'd love to educate the ITP crowd who
Yeah.
maybe
Uh-huh.
doesn't know. Is it? Let me test some of my knowledge, and then I'd love to hear from you all. Is Montenegro part of the former Yugoslavian Empire? What is
Mm-hmm.
give us just some of the background and what
Give us some
the
of the surrounding
place
countries.
like?
so we can place it. I'm like Serbia, Croatia. I don't know. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah, it's right in there.
south of Croatia, and it's what used to be Serbia and Montenegro.
Okay.
After Yugoslavia, Serbia and Montenegro, and then in 2006, again, it's independent. This town where we live used to be a submarine station during World
So
War
it's right there on the water then. It
So
must
it's on
be
the
beautiful
coast?
beaches, the whole
Ooh.
thing. Paint us
Yes.
that picture.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it
God.
is very funny to be honest. We leave we go down. We live on the third floor. We go downstairs. We walk probably
And
and then the water's
But 50 meters, we go out the back of our apartment, down through this little lot, and then we're like 10 meters from the beach. We're not 50 meters point to point from the beach. We're like 10 or 15, like from our balcony looking down. But
yeah. We look at the water, and then the beauty of this area, this Bay of Kotor, is that the mountains are right behind us. So we have water in front and beautiful mountains behind, and it's a very small town, and there's not much room for it to grow. So it is what it is. It has this beautiful, newly developed area. It's called Porto Montenegro. It has a really nice marina. So it's I would say a very upscale area that they're trying to make it attractive for that kind of tourist. But then we live right outside of it, so we have the benefit of what that takes. But then we are also attached to the rest of the town where people live. So we're extremely happy. And then also it's 600 meters away from school. So we walk every morning to this park, and then we get to school.
yeah, we walk through the park and
We haven't. I mean, we don't have a car, and I don't think we'll be purchasing one. We thought we would, but at this point, it's
Car.
everything we need to do is 90% of the things we do are within 3 blocks. So it's a
Can we
real,
use
what they would call in the US like mixed use, like there's storefronts and then there's apartments and there's plenty of restaurants. The whole area along the water is just, there's no cars. It's just a really beautiful walkway. Even the street in front of us is a no car area. Yeah, and our kids have so much more independence here than they did in the US. We just sent them out for an hour with
He's like,
20 euros.
come back when it's dark.
Figure out your dinner.
It's like the set.
They're with one of their friends from school who was
On
out
bicycle.
riding around on his bike.
and bicycles, scooters, all of that, and everybody's very friendly with the event. It's like it seems like the culture is very child oriented. Like you see them just saying hi to the kids, being very kind to the kids, regardless of how loud and annoying they can get. Like it doesn't matter. They're like first class citizens, and then the rest of us. So that is something that we really appreciate.
JP, sorry, Cesar. I was just going to say the term I would use is hidden gem.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you get it. So Montenegro is now part of the European Union. They're a candidate, so they're moving towards that. So I think over the next couple of years, from what I hear, just like hearsay, the next 2 to 3 years or 3 to 4 years. And I don't know the list of things that you have to do to be accepted to the European Union, but there's some infrastructure, I imagine, and things like that. We're in Europe, but it's still a developing country. So it's like, well, we're accustomed to that, having lived. He's from Venezuela, and I lived there for 6 years. So it's kind of like it's definitely a hidden gem. And for us, it's just like such a perfect fit.
Give us an idea, like K to 12, I presume.
Yeah, it's pre-K to 12, and there's 240 students.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That sounds like one of the schools I went to. I taught at. Who are the students? Who do you teach? What are they like?
Well, think about our
Location.
our location, and then the current situation around the area. We have a lot of Russians and Ukrainians in our classrooms. There's a large group of Turkish kids, and then there's a good group of locals, of course, and then a
handful. Well, yesterday we had our international food fair, and I tried food from Georgia, Armenia, Russia, Ukraine. Of course, we had Thailand was represented. I mean, there's 34 different nationalities of kids that go to this school. A few British families or families that are like half British. Yeah, they didn't set up a table. So it was so awesome, like to be able to try. Turkey had a huge, huge table. The food was amazing. Like it was so great. So, we have students from Moldova. Yeah, so.
But I'm not hearing a lot of English speakers. So,
No.
as far as native English speakers.
Probably not.
There's one student in the school who's in year 11 who has lived in the U.S. and I think she's a U.S. citizen. Yeah, so she's gone back and forth. Yeah, they've gone back and forth between Montenegro and the U.S.
Among the 240 students, probably 10 to 15 are native English speakers because of the parents' nationality, but not because they necessarily grew up.
So your kids start to become quite a resource for a lot of teachers, I would imagine, like getting paired up with maybe the kids that need to work on English.
There's an interesting story here because our twins, they were born in San Francisco and California, and we had this Spanish immersion school in our neighborhood, which was very, very convenient, and I speak Spanish too. And they learned how to read and write in Spanish.
Like that was the curriculum. Like when they learned how to read, and all their introduction to literacy was in Spanish.
But their native language, we could say, was English and Spanish.
Yeah, like more their
Mm-hmm.
And the social language in school and in our neighborhood was English. So they got here, and their English level reading is very low.
It's lower than the kids who have been in the international school. So they're in year 3, which is great too. So
even if they're not.
Even if so, other students whose parents aren't native English speakers, but the students have been in the school for 3 years, their English literacy skills are higher than our twins. So maybe they're good partners for like verbal exercises or conversation, but they're not leaving the class and reading it
back and forth then.
And
so are they picking up the local language? What is it anyhow?
Yeah, what is it? Thanks, JP.
It's Serbian, and they call it Montenegrin because every country around here, I would say, is Croatian, and there is a slight difference. But what I've come to understand is that the difference is similar to like Latin American Spanish. From one country to another, there's a lot of different words, but the language is the same.
They have classes like about 3 times a week in Montenegrin, and they can speak a little bit, and they're,
say a few things.
Yeah. But I would say our kids have actually picked up more Russian, I think, than
nice.
Montenegrin, because I think the social language is a mix of Russian and English. So yeah, it's fascinating. They picked up more British English. They're speaking English differently because like the twins teacher, they're like, "Mommy, I need to go to the toilet,"
But I wonder if they even have a concept that they're learning Russian words and Montenegrin words, and that these are 2 different languages. Because in the concept of especially a young child with a multilingual environment, they might not even realize they're actually using words from different languages.
Yeah.
They just know in that context I'm going to say this, and in that context I'm going to say this.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to watch how these little, I don't know, Britishisms make it into their speech. Like the other day, our 7-year-old girl, she asked me like, "Are we going to go straight away?" Which is more typical of British English. Yeah. I was like, "Yeah, we're going to go straight away." And it's just so funny how this creeps in. So it's been like a joy and just so fascinating to watch.
It fits with the personality of the language here. It does fit very well. Then you understand the nuances between and English and American English and British English, how the other European languages fits better. And plus one of our good friends and an actual supervisor, she's British, and actually I end up just kind of having a little British accent.
You go up a lot at the end of your sentences. I noticed that. Are we going to go and have some dinner now. The sort of lilt. Yeah.
On
All
the
our
ITP,
British listeners are cringing.
on behalf of the
Yeah.
ITP, we'd like to send our sincere apology to all of the British speakers of the world.
All right, let's take a moment for a little commercial about how to get in touch with us. You can, of course, find all four of us at the itpexpat.com. That's www.itpexpat.com.
Or you could also find us at email at internationalteacherpodcast@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Or if you're into Facebook, we have a new Facebook group at www.facebook.com/groups/ITPexpat, where you can find all kinds of inside information about ITP Expat.
You can also find us on Instagram at ITPXpats. That's with an S. ITPXpats is our handle.
All right, and thank you, listeners. We have over 100 countries represented by our listeners, and though we're not monetized, we are here for you, and we would like to thank all of you for listening. So let's get back to the show.
I really like accents, and I really like because they tell you where you're from and where you're. It
Life story.
There's a life story there, and it's fascinating regardless of where you're from. Because we do have this biases towards certain accents in every language, but that's where we are. That's where we come from.
Cesar, did your family represent at International Day and make arepas for everyone?
Well, Venezuela, that Jessica signed us up, and then we realized that we had assessments all week, and you had to test a grade, and it was a very
And plus,
stressful
we
thing,
didn't
you know.
realize what a big deal this international fair was, So uh, now when we're ready, we know the expectation, and next year we're already planning the
Yeah, we
menu
didn't
for
do
next year. Yeah, we shared the table with one of our colleagues who's Cuban, and we had like a Caribbean style. But yeah, we're gonna go big next year.
Nice.
I'm afraid now.
I remember one year as a French teacher, I volunteered to do the French booth because there weren't any French families at the time. And so I said, yeah, my students and I will do the French booth. And we were making crepes and had a chocolate fountain. And oh my gosh, what a headache that was. I told myself never again. It is a lot of work. And it's also just, it's sales. Like you're just selling.
Yeah, no, this is
constantly.
all free. At our
This is all
fair,
free,
it's like you just go up to the table and fill your plate. It was great. So there's no exchange of money or, so
Okay,
it was
yeah.
like really simplified it down to the food and eating experience.
The way they do,
Oh, that's nice.
each family brings a dish. So there's this, the Turkish table was very large, and there's all sorts of different dishes, but it was just us, right? And then our Cuban colleague, who she was very excited about, and she brought a lot of different things. Some of them are very similar to what we have in Venezuela, and yeah, but that was it. And we, the thing is, like a couple of weeks ago, or probably 3 weeks ago, right? I had to organize a sports day. So
For the
it
whole
was
school.
For the whole school. It was
Sports
a big
day.
endeavor. Yes. It was a big endeavor. And after that, I was just tired, and I felt that National Day is my day to relax and enjoy the International Day.
Yeah.
I think that was my approach.
But next year you're gonna go
Stay tuned.
big.
We're going to come back for another episode and give the update.
Yeah.
Let me jump in here and ask. You're 3 months in to your new country, your new school. It's been 17 years for me when I first went overseas. What are some of the challenges through your eyes of, relocating the family, a family of 5? What are some of the things that you found maybe even a little bit more challenging than you thought at the beginning, and how you've kind of as a family worked to overcome those?
I mean, getting here was a huge lift.
The first move, I think, from here on, I guess, and whenever we finish here will be a little easier. But going from a
3-bed, 2-bath with a garage, 2 cars, suburban house,
going from that to
And the more people I talk to, the more I realize, like, if you put things in storage, you're just paying a bill for stuff that you never see. And so we decided not to do that. We came all
That's advice you
suitcases.
can take to the bank, Jessica. I'm going to
Yes.
tell all those teachers out there. I don't mean to jump in and hijack the story, but I can't tell you the number of people I've worked with who tried to bring all of their furniture from the United States only to find that there's absolutely no room for even half of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or the storage fees. Yeah.
Right. No, and then the stories we heard about shipping was, we were quoted at like $18,000. We didn't know it was going to be going on with the import tax, and 18,000 is before it even gets off the ship, then paying taxes. It just was, we're going suitcases only.
Mm-hmm. Good.
$50,000 to bring IKEA furniture.
Yeah, what's the point?
So
We sold, yeah.
But I mean, it's tough. It's just things. And we were lucky to be able to leave a few boxes with things that are very valuable to us that we were not gonna necessarily.
Yeah, we left them at my parents' garage.
Like mementos.
Well, that was the biggest
yeah.
lift. I mean, it was so crazy those last few days. Like,
how long? We were doing 4 months of getting rid, selling stuff,
Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace.
And then, so it were 20 suitcases essentially that we moved with. They were all at weight. 10 of them, 23 kilos. 10 of them, 32 kilos.
I thought you were going to say, yeah, so we really downsized to 2 suitcases each, but wow.
Yeah, there's 5 of us, and we wanted to bring books, especially in Spanish for the kids, because we knew we wouldn't have access to that here. And we have a lot of sports equipment. So we did seriously downsize. But I mean, I'll never forget hauling those 20 luggage items up
to get to the airport.
Yeah, we rented a U-Haul to get to the airport. We had this whole orchestration of how we were getting there and where was Cesar. Like, it was so crazy. And then, yeah, they had reserved 2 taxis for us that were like vans. We needed a third one.
Yep.
And then we essentially live off 4 flights of stairs. And so we didn't get until 11, and it was like, and it was hot.
Middle of the side.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was rough, but it was all worth it.
I knew there was, I was training for that because I knew that.
Thank goodness you were an athlete.
To be able to do that. And it was hard. It was just bringing up 32 kilogram suitcases up for 50 steps.
You counted.
And then, it was hard, but we made it. I mean, our connection at Istanbul was about 1 hour, and we were at.
No, that is a tight connection, Cesar. 1
hour. Oh man, we ran.
We have to run through the whole.
And we had over.
Bib numbers? Did you pin bib numbers on each of your kids and go?
No, but the kids' backpacks, they're not supposed to be over 8, like any carrying, not over 8 kilos, right? And ours were like 9, like I think Cesar's was 10. The kids' backpacks were heavy for them. And they were
like 8 to 10 kilos.
Yeah, and they were. Yeah. They did it.
But you made it and you arrived and you had 3 vans or 2 vans and a third coming. But someone was at the airport to greet you. You had an apartment ready to go with food in the fridge, all that good stuff.
Yep.
We did. There was we had to work with a local realtor, for a few months until we found the apartment.
Wow.
But I think the challenges were before we got here. I can't think of anything since we've been here, that's been an overwhelming challenge.
No.
I mean, the paperwork processing of the visas and all that stuff, but the school helps so much with that. So we've had to wait in line at this office. It's only open certain hours, just things like that.
Interpreter because,
Yeah, but it hasn't been, I kind of expected those types of things. It hasn't been any, and even the medical care, like Cesar got a pretty bad sinus infection after being here just a couple weeks. We just walked up the street to the public health clinic. We saw a doctor within like 5 minutes, and it was so easy. There have been so many things that I've been just really pleasantly surprised by.
And there are other difficulties. If we have one of our friends, her son needs
it's like some sort of allergy medication. I forgot what it's called, but
and they can't find it here. So they had to go to Croatia to find it, and it was a struggle after they went to like 5 hospitals, 3 pharmacies, and things like. So there are obstacles, of course, because even though it's
Because
Europe,
it's a small place. You're
it's
in
a very
a
small
in a
place,
small
and
country. Yeah.
Montenegro they have very tight, important policies. So
Mm-hmm.
there's stuff that you can't find here. It's
Let's
hard.
talk about the travel though, since you are
Yeah,
so
great
close to
question, JP.
everything.
Mhm.
What kind of travel are you looking forward to? Have you already done a few trips?
So far, just inside the country is so beautiful. It is so
Mm.
incredibly beautiful.
Yep.
So we've been just around the country where we're planning for Christmas and then for next year a few different things. I think
Yeah.
going to Italy just makes sense because it's just there's a ferry that takes you there.
Oh, a ferry.
What's that ferry ride? I love that. How
Is it to
close are you to Italy
Venice?
then?
What's
No,
It's
yeah.
it's to like bar or something. Is it
It's in
called?
the south of Bari. Yeah, there's one to Pescara that's a little bit farther north, and then Bari, which it's down south. But it's yes, it's on the east coast in Italy. So
The
beautiful area.
heel of the
Yeah,
boot,
Yeah, but that's
right?
like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's like six
middle
or eight
kind of middle.
hours. I'm
Here in London, probably I think it's
Wow.
you get on in the evening and then you get there in the morning again. So and
Also,
there's
you get like a little roomette with bunk beds
Oh,
or
that
that's
something.
what
sounds so
we're
cool.
told. So yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
Yeah, and we're just looking at Eurorail passes. I mean, the Eurorail system
Mm-hmm.
doesn't come into Montenegro, but we can take a ferry to Dubrovnik in Croatia and then travel like overland to get to the cities where the trains come, or we could go to Serbia and connect with the trains up there. So, yeah, we just started kind of researching
Is
that
that a
today.
summer, maybe a summer plan in the
No,
making?
we're thinking
Euro-rail?
actually for winter, checking out the Christmas markets and stuff. We're not going to go home
Love the
over
Christmas markets.
Christmas break.
Yeah. And visitors, plans for visitors are have you got
We've already
you
had a
got a
ton
spare
of
room? Yeah. Wow.
I made a competition with my friends, like who's gonna be the first one to get here to visit, and then they
The friend I thought would be the first, well, because she lives in Paris.
Wow.
She came at the beginning of October. I know her from working in Venezuela, so that was so cool. And then Cesar had some, well, they're friends
friends from
with.
California, yeah. So
Mhm.
they had planned a trip to Croatia, and then I was like, well, just come down here. It's very
Mhm.
close. And then they finished their trip here for a few days, and it was great. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, this was the highlight of the yeah, because it's just very very a little different. It's not as you know, touristy as other areas. Even though it is like there's everything for.
It's kind of like you're at that not honeymoon stage, I mean in terms of moving there, but in terms of the country. Like you're in
Yeah.
that stage where it's before it gets discovered, it's before it
Mm-hmm.
changes. Gentrification doesn't sound like it hasn't quite hit, except maybe that area next to
Mhm.
you. So
Mhm.
these are the golden years of visiting you guys in Montenegro. And then who knows, 5 years from now, everybody's heard of it, just like Croatia blew up with
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, right? I mean, the throngs of people coming in looking for King's Landing. So I wonder if, yeah, in a few years, it will likely change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how it's gonna unfold because it seems like the personality of the of Montenegrins is much more relaxed. It's actually the first word we learned here was Polako, which is Polako is just calm down. It's like a lifestyle. It's just limit, relax, like so. Yeah, and they are not super happy. Everybody I talked to that's local and that grew up here, they're not super excited about what could happen if the country joins the European Union
Yeah,
because
we're going to learn a lot about all
it's
this.
Yeah.
is you meet people that they grew up in Yugoslavia, they went to the war, and then they suffered the whole thing, and then they've been here, they left, they came back. So understanding the differences also between all the Balkans and it's just very, very interesting.
Fascinating.
And it's just the beginning. And it's
It
just the
Mhm.
is.
beginning. You guys
Mm-hmm.
have years to discover this, years to discover your Balkan neighbors. And well, we were talking about the how many? 23 suitcases that you
20.
or 20
20.
suitcases that
Uh-huh.
you brought. In those 20 suitcases, what are three things that you did not want to lose, that you put an Apple tag on and said, we cannot lose this stuff?
I think almost 20 suitcases, the whole thing.
No, I
Because
think
they
all the
size so much that.
But think about, so our question for ITP is, what are 3 things that you brought with you that you need to feel like you were at home? So what
Mhm.
were there?
That would be the 3
things
kids.
Have heartbeats.
I think for me, it just the bicycle has given me so much
Bicycle.
throughout my life that I brought my bicycle. It didn't matter how much what the price was to bring a bicycle. I had to bring one
Right.
bicycle at least. I
All right.
had to sell a few in the US, but one bicycle. That's
That was only one. Do you have 2 others, right?
Mm.
3. I mean, I know my 3.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
go for it, and then Cesar
So
can think of
one
his.
is just a nice set of sheets
Mm.
because, the quality of sheets can really vary, and getting a good night's sleep is really important to me. So a good set of sheets, and then something simple like to make coffee in the morning, like the first morning, like just want a pour over cone and some filters and maybe a little bit of coffee. So yeah, we had that we did have one suitcase. It was like kitchen stuff. And then the other thing, which I didn't realize until we got here, but I was happy that I packed it, is a bar of soap, because we had been traveling for 24 hours and then we were sweating after hauling all the suitcases up. And I was going through opening like every suitcase, rummaging around. And Cesar's like, "What are you looking for?" It's for a bed. Like, we're here, relax. And I was like, I need to take a shower and I need a bar of soap. So I think next time I'll just keep that. I'll keep the bar of soap in my in my carry-on bag.
Yeah.
And so you have a good night's sleep, a cup of coffee, like going to bed clean for the first 24 hours, sleeping on nice sheets, and then having coffee in the morning. Yeah.
Sports equipment. Like I feel like I need it, and even though I haven't been able to use my equipment as much as I would like because we've been busy, it's there, and it gives me comfort. It gives me hope of I'm going to be able to enjoy it. The other thing is,
what are we talking? Like a set of weights? Like what?
No, sports equipment is like a bicycle, running shoes,
tennis racket,
like things that I play tennis, and I used to be a professional triathlete, so it's swimming, cycling, and running. So there's a lot of equipment there. Yeah, as long as I had that, and I bought a big, like sports equipment bag that used to put some stuff, and then we had skateboards also, but that's not. I wouldn't. Yeah, we did. We had them, and the kids liked them. But then now I use them to move around town. Like I go to the gym, and it's a mile away.
So it's not cobblestone, because I'm picturing all these cobblestones.
There are some cobblestone streets, but that new modern area is like a thoroughfare sort of pedestrian walkway between our part of town and like where the gym is. So it's very smooth. Yeah.
And then like roads are paved properly in that area as well. So it's and where we move, it works really well. I don't know, farther out. But yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, we were talking about this question before, and then I have this. We both have this shirts that we found in California that are called blanket shirts, and they're perfect because they're not too warm. They're loose, they're relaxed, they fall on you very, very comfortably, and then we use them all the time.
Like, they're perfect for this climate. Yeah,
only not during summer, but summer nights maybe.
But that between weather. But will it get very cold where you are? I won't imagine you see snow or anything.
No, there's not snow here, but we'll be able to see snow on the mountains.
Yeah. So it would get down to like 4 or 5 degrees Celsius, like in the maybe 30s at one point, 40s. So it's cold, but it's not
too cold.
JP, take a note there, JP. I think we need to get some ITP branded blanket shirts available for the ITP crowd. So we'll have a new sponsor coming up. The mint color
ITP.
I love that. I'm so sold. Shirts. Yeah.
And they're buttoned down all the way, or just 3 buttons?
Yeah, look at that. It's got some pockets. Perfect. I love that.
Well, it's almost like the Canadian plaid shirt, because the Canadian red and black plaid shirt that everyone wears that are sort of fleece flannel. That's why they wear them, and they do button all the way down, so that they're like a jacket or a shirt, depending on what you're wearing underneath.
Exactly.
Now, it's a very similar idea, but the fabric is just a little heavier, like flat shirts or like.
Yeah, you guys might have like a new sponsor after this.
I love that. I love the passion.
If you own a blanket shirt manufacturing company, please reach out to
No,
us.
there's only one company that makes them. Not going to mention them, but yeah, if you Google
Not
it,
that
I'm
an
sure you
official
can find
sponsor.
it.
Everybody's
Not cheap.
Googling
Now,
right now.
I know it's only been 3 months, but now having spent nearly the last hour with you, I know there's going to be a run-in with authority story that the two of you have, something that you're willing to share, that you don't mind your employer hearing. Traveling with a family of 5, no doubt there's going to be bumps with authority on the way. Would you be willing to share one of those stories?
Let's think about it.
Yeah, so many. You got to choose, I know.
When we arrived, I thought, we have all this. And at the airport, they were very, the word I said, Polaco. They were like, okay, yeah, just go. Oh, yeah, how about this? Oh, it's a lot of luggage. Okay, let's go.
What a luggage.
I mean, it was, what day was it?
It was a
Like
Thursday
right?
night. Yeah.
And it was probably, 7, 8 p.m. But still, it was very, very relaxed. Very nothing major. And I was ready to have to
Fight for the luggage.
Yeah, exactly. And then one bag didn't make it. So, how do we do this? And then it was just very relaxed. The problem is that if you want to have a fairly fast legal process of any kind,
A process of any kind in general. Like there's no sense of urgency here.
Mm.
But I think it makes us more relaxed.
But it does.
But you're like, it expires tomorrow. I need it today. I have thoroughly enjoyed. I have loved chatting with you, Miss Jessica, Mr. Cesar.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do some final words.
Okay.
And then we'll go ahead and get wrapped up. I know you set the kids out for an hour and they're due back any minute now.
They're due back any minute.
By the way, what 2 boys, two girls, 1 boy?
2 girls and a boy. So the older girl is 10, and then the boy-girl twins are 7.
Oh, congratulations, lovely family.
Thanks.
Let's start with JP. Let's see, I forget which order I'm rusty. JP Mint, what do you think? Final words for the ITP
I want to
crowd?
thank Jessica and Cesar for coming onto the show. It's been a geographical lesson. It's been a packing lesson. Don't forget that soap in your carry-on. So I hope that maybe next year, after the International Day is a success and everybody
They'll be
wants
napping
to go to
for a week.
Venezuela, thanks to your booth, you'll come onto the show and share with us all your, travel stories and everything. But thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, really enjoyed it and had fun connecting with you guys and just sort of reflecting on our first 3.5 months.
Yeah. Do you want to give, Cesar, Jessica, do you want to give some final words of advice for families traveling abroad? What advice do you want to give?
My advice would be when you're thinking of like where you want to go, don't rule out anything. Like cast your net wide and think about like what values are important to you and your family. Like for us, access to the outdoors, being a safe place for our kids to run around and play. Access to water, of course, but it wasn't going to be a deal breaker because how many cities are on the coast, right? So just cast an open net and you may end up somewhere you never thought you would be. And it could be better than you ever could have imagined because that's what's happened to us.
Going in the direction you want and you really believe, because it may not present itself the way you think it will, but it will, just based on what all your actions. So that's what.
Yeah, I will say another thing, because I initially was mostly looking at leadership positions because that's where the positions I most recently came from. But I've been out of international teaching. I had been out of international teaching for 9 years. So I think to just realize like I can do so many things in schools. I can teach so many different science classes and environmental science type classes, and just you might not get the perfect job, but that's okay if be open because there's so many different aspects to international teaching, and it doesn't have to be exactly what you want to teach or exactly like the courses that you've taught before.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we can find reasons to complain about our life right now, but there's no need for that. I think
just staying positive. Yeah.
Such a great attitude. Such a great attitude. I love it.
It's like a waste of time to find those reasons to complain because there's so
Right?
much.
Life is too short to
exactly.
focus on that. Wow.
Nice.
I can't wait to have both of you back on the show. Let me take a moment to thank everyone. First of all, thanks to the ITP crowd for joining us. We love you, and keep your eyes out for our future sponsor for the blanket shirts, Jessica and Cesar.
He has to step away for 1 second.
Literally got to run.
Yeah.
Kids are banging on their door. They're so punctual.
Yeah,
they're like the only thing that's urgent.
Well, look, they're going to get a camera moment if they come through the kitchen.
Hey, yeah.
Come on over.
Moment.
We didn't do too bad. All right, look at that. Oh, look at this.
There we go.
They might be too
Stuck
shy.
around
They might
till
be
the
too
end,
shy.
Yeah.
you get to see
This is the reward.
Shot.
No.
Hey, there they are.
Hi. My gosh. Hi. How's everyone doing? So shy.
Okay.
Hi.
Boy is still running around.
How you doing? Wow. That's the bonus for sticking around. Thank you so much. Hey, did you all go to the beach today?
They were playing at the park. Now it's kind of cold, so the water.
I would I want to give a huge thank you to our guests today, Jessica and Cesar. Jessica, you could find them in Tivat, Montenegro, which now has a population of 9,505.
No, it's crazy. We've been here 3.5 months. Every time we go outside, we run into someone we know.
I love that.
Everywhere we go, we're like, oh, hey, how's it going? So that's cool.
And if you find yourself in Tivat, Montenegro, just give them a shout. They are on the beach and they love visitors. I would love to thank my co-host, JP Mint. You can find her at JP Mint Consulting. Thank you so much, JP Mint.
Thank you.
And I am Kent, the cat host today, and you can find me dodging raindrops in Bellingham, Washington. As always, ITV crowd, we'll see you next time.